Van Glorious, Vanguard.
Knowledge Ball.
Yeah.
United Front.
Tell it.
What you want, what you want, what you want.
To the Knowledge Radio.
We in here. What you got? Dot.
Work hard as a slave to one day be your savior. The wave unwavering. This is a labor of love. Rise with a purpose every day. Invigorated. If we were on TV, we'd be 10 times syndicated. If we waited for validation, a paycheck or accolades, we'd be starved, already lost or ran away. But when you're square, solid, and you circle too, you don't need a place for silence. The concept is conquered through media, not areas of people activity. A mix that don't lose ethnicity, tightness that don't lose elasticity. Explicitly, this isn't where we give the novice regard. Nah, this is where knowledge is born. Last time that I checked, I'm undefeated. Deliver edicts, can't resist when the gods build and manifest freedom. When lines get crossed, they may push a loss, cause they get hand checked. We kick the can and cancel your cancerous gestures. A prophet vision, precision, the prescription for the sickness is to inoculate your fate with the winning. Arrogant beginners turn to humble endings. And US with KBA is a win-win. 1K, 1K.
Yeah. Preach. This that black church cast about to make you get up. Got the devil by his neck. Pastor ain't about to let up. They doctor the plan to keep you sick in the mind and set up. That's why my flow surgical and every bar is a checkup. To fix you, learn to breathe, love to read the fundamentals. Next, learn to fight, start eating right, the essentials. Patience, meditation, calm the noise, increase the mental. These racists ain't playing, they try to defeat you on every level. They said without money, you won't hear what I'm trying to tell you. Well, this ain't about dollars and I ain't got nothing to sell you. But before they used to sell you, they did more than they tell you. They hailed you. You took them as students, shared secrets, and they failed you. Slit your throat with the hopes of confiscating heirlooms. You thought he was a man, the moon showed you he's a werewolf. Now you trained a rabid dog too vicious to befriend you. Don't want him back in his cave, put him down in a kennel. United we stand, 50 shots back was the start of this. Black Power Man, her rap cypher, complete captivated audience. The moon was revenge, dug up dirt to place the coffin in. Only built for killers, warlords, cutthroats is the war within. Now it's my turn, at the pulpit with a sword for them. I'm fighting off the devils, angels, agents, and his sorcerers. Ain't no mega structure to take a black man and soften him. Church in the field, and it's time to collect the offering. Today we raise dollars to protect all of our scholars. Our single mamas, cause they taking out the robbers. Invest in black farmers, build a school, no loans for college. Keep the cash in the hood, even though they might try to bomb it. When you man up, you an inherent threat to the moral standard of this poisonous coward, cracker, cobra commander. That don't make me G.I. Joe, I'm a soldier like a panther. My flow of words is a workout, you don't stretch your jaws, a cramp up. Congregation focus on freedom and conversation. Adopted tactics from black churches before integration. Now we put faith in creflo dollar reputations. Guess he's closer to heaven on that jet on vacation. Preach, pastor, preach, no escape for this caveman. Next chapter we gonna have to deal with this gay man. Damn it, he's sweeter than the batter you pour in a cake pan. Church in the field, Pastor Green, my sermon saved man. United we stand, 50 shots back was the start of this. Black Power Man, her rap cypher, complete captivated audience. The moon was revenge, dug up dirt to place the coffin in. Only built for killers, warlords, cutthroats is the war within. Now it's my turn, at the pulpit with a sword for them. I'm fighting off the devils, angels, agents, and his sorcerers. Ain't no mega structure to take a black man and soften him. Church in the field, and it's time to collect the offering.
They be like, yo, why you the pastor? Like, what's church in the field? Like, we black power, we trying to get out the church. Like, slow your ass down. Listen, grown folks talk. I'm the pastor.
I used to sit and listen, got me scared to think I'm sinning. That's when the devil was in the ground, didn't know the true and living. With cool precision, preacher's voice pushed me to a limit. Never knew a chemist and missing books of Bible edits. Who get the credit? Message to the black man read it. So Pastor Green's the author of this black man's message. Said it. Let the mountains tell it. We don't tell it on the mountain. My ancestors had a carbon fetish. These crackers in their gay paintings of molested babies and angel feathers is more than suggestive. Popes and Vatican weapons, whole motion promotion to download guards is oppressive. Messenger bomb that distorts and confuses the senses. Welcome to the black church and what it's meant to be. The pastor reaches the people, that's what it meant to me. Grandma heard me break it down. She said I need to preach. Introducing Pastor Green, no compromising, cracker free. Welcome to the black church and what it's meant to be. The pastor reaches the people, that's what it meant to me. Grandma heard me break it down. She said I need to preach. Introducing Pastor Green, no compromising, cracker free. Pastors and teachers working in the church's service. Due to the evolution of the Negro preacher in this sermon. No cracker worship or making nuns out of our daughters. We honoring our ancestors through rituals and altars. I walk this world and live it, though cautious in my desire. Reaching higher as the lies in my mind expire. Preaching fire from the ships protected by a Maya Oshun sister while we survive the ride to the islands. Offer her fruit, fish, and silver, a choice to gold and diamonds. Accepting guardian spirits, learn how to call and find them. So when I take you to church, remember and remind them. America where I live, but Africa's where you find him. Welcome to the black church and what it's meant to be. The pastor reaches the people, that's what it meant to me. Grandma heard me break it down. She said I need to preach. Introducing Pastor Green, no compromising, cracker free. Welcome to the black church and what it's meant to be. The pastor reaches the people, that's what it meant to me. Grandma heard me break it down. She said I need to preach. Introducing Pastor Green, no compromising, cracker free. Nobody questioned God's color till cracker define race. Skin jealous cause the carbon in mine keep me blacker than space wind. From the greatest to the lowest, I notice no more waiting. Crackers is all devil, coons is the footrest of Satan. Dido always kill it cause Dido make you feel it. Thorough in the spirit with them bars off the skillet. I ain't gotta tell nobody I'm African, I already did it. Sometimes I'm rhyming alkaline refined, but this is all acidic. Dumb and dumber done did it, cracker grave dig it. I'm the pastor cause I have my words engage spirits. Church in the field is my shield to you for the wicked. Black power versus always dismissing your crucifixion. Welcome to the black church and what it's meant to be. The pastor reaches the people, that's what it meant to me. Grandma heard me break it down. She said I need to preach. Introducing Pastor Green, no compromising, cracker free. The Vanguard, Frontline United, Church in the Field. It's your boy Dido Green. Harlem, let's go. The process execution, get freedom and retribution. I feed them, clip the nooses, expose CNN is newsless. Choosers, he rulers, they do too much and they jewelers. This cracker is the devil, Satan, and the Yama do this. So we about to do this, we the rhythm of the movement. Got to keep the people moving in this fight, win it or lose it. People, get your black fist high, this way we unite on that front line. From NY to the sky, we gon' throw that fist high. Unite on the west side, combine in the south live. I be aiming for your mind, you gon' bump it in your ride. My people, I really need you to get up off your behind. People, get your black fist high, this way we unite on that front line. People, get your black fist high, this way we unite on that front line. Y'all want that black Jesus walks? Hello my listeners, that cracker in the trunk, that's what we give to our parishioners. You still a slave to your J.O.B.? You a slave and you can't see that I'm an African. I'm a African. God is son with the rapping gift. Got Harlem on my back and lift. Rapping players can't tackle this. People, show black fist high, this way we unite on that front line. From NY to the shy, we gon' throw that fist high. Unite on the west side, combine in the south live. I be aiming for your mind, you gon' bump it in your ride. My people, I really need you to get up off your behind. People, get your black fist high, this way we unite on that front line. People, get your black fist high, this way we unite on that front line. Freedom Fighter Cypher gave you hurricane relief. Spell hurricane with 3 Ks. Always acknowledge the beast. 1-900 freedom is the number to call to learn what you do for elocution. Food for thought in this war. Protected was kissed by the sun with my guard and my gun. Every day I'm struggling not to crash before I'm done. Let's go. People, get your black fist high, this way we unite on that front line. From NY to the shy, we gon' throw that fist high. Unite on the west side, combine in the south live. I be aiming for your mind. mind, you gon' bump it in your ride. My people, I really need you to get up off your behind. People, get your black fist high. This way we unite on that front line. People, get your black fist high. This way we unite on that front line. I got Harlem blazing on east side location. Peace to brothers getting it between Malcolm and Adam Clayton. Standing between giants, do you get it when I say it? Consciousness awaken. Aim as well, show the falsification. Initiative to teach our own the work we give the nation. Black power actions keep my spirit in celebration. People, get your black fist high. This way we unite on that front line. From NY to the Shy, we gon' throw that fist high. Unite on the west side, combining the south live. I be aiming for your mind, you gon' bump it in your ride. My people, I really need you to get up off your behind. People, get your black fist high. This way we unite on that front line. People, get your black fist high. This way we unite on that front line. Have integrity but be free and say what you feel. Move the spirit into action, that's that church in the field. Congregate with the people, get the masses to build. Pray to God after prayer, we holding church in the field. You can rest on the Sabbath, use your weekend to chill. The rest of that week is a battle, we call church in the field. Let's go. People, get your black fist high. This way we unite on that front line. From NY to the Shy, we gon' throw that fist high. Unite on the west side, combining the south live. I be aiming for your mind, you gon' bump it in your ride. My people, I really need you to get up off your behind. People, get your black fist high. This way we unite on that front line. People, get your black fist high. This way we unite on that front line.
Oh snap! I think. All right, so without any further ado, becomes my honor and privilege at this time to introduce some present to others and welcome the reason for the season, the whirlwind, the unapologetic warrior soul sister who stands on truth and gives us the truth indiscriminate to who it may destroy. Our warrior sister, Sass, aka Unbothered.
Shalom, can it be heard?
Shalom. Now, how about I was talking that whole entire time, right? I was
Yeah.
talking, and nobody but our ancestors and the good Lord above heard what the hell I was saying.
Oh, that's what
That is
happened.
the second time, or the third time, I think. The third time that I've done that since I've been on air in my radio broadcast history.
What did you say?
I was, I was looking because, this mic is on, but this other one wasn't. So I was like, oh shit, all right. I just said all of that for nothing. Oh well.
You have to start over. What was it about?
No, I don't even remember now. It's gone. It was for the Lord, you know.
Oh,
It sounded good too. I got busy. You know what I'm saying? Like it was.
oh,
I gave I have a
okay.
dream speech on mute. How are you? What's goody?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm here. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. I'm here. I guess it wasn't for nobody but the Lord, though. I can't
Yeah,
even
just
remember
wait.
how I said what I said to even try to repeat it. I was going, yeah. So,
Oh, okay. In the introduction.
yes.
Oh, okay. And all I heard was like nothing, and I was like,
Nothing. It
okay,
was just nothingness, right?
yeah,
This sound like it was just dead air, just wasting time.
yeah. I saw the time going, but I was like, well, I'll just wait, you know. So
I was right on point too with the boom, 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 and it just died. And I thought, maybe you didn't hear nothing I said, or something was going down over there. So I was just like, all right. Then I looked down and I seen this other mute thing going on. I said, oh shit. I said, all that for no.
my bad. And saying all of that, happy Sukkot. That's on record. That's for everyone. And
There's no
that's it.
AKA today. I just said AKA unbothered. You ain't dealing with the AKA today?
No, I couldn't think of nothing like I couldn't think of anything at the moment. 'Cause I don't force it,
Yeah.
but I just didn't have anything clever because of I think it's because I've been like surrounded by wickedness all day. It's like,
Mm.
yeah, like just evil people. So, the comments, I don't know how to explain it, but like um yeah, I don't know how to explain it, so I'm not gonna even try to. Like when people say, "Oh, I'm a nice person," and I'll never say that, but you know, some event turn or something, they'll say that bad thing and then try to justify it and stuff. And I don't know, is that people's true colors or is that the other side of the person or I don't know, I can't explain it. I'll have to get like a good example of it.
November 10th, Sinbad. So you got these hateful messages from people who sought to try to throw something in your face. Is that what it is?
Yeah, but like it didn't make any sense though. Like it's not obviously they're missing a point, you know. Um, I don't know. For
Well,
some
that's
reason, people think I'm on a certain side or something, or
right. You are
you
on a
know,
certain side, just not the side that they talking about.
yeah, but that's how they see it, you know.
Yeah, and they not on that side, so they don't know what
Mm,
to do.
yeah,
They don't know what to do.
and they're sounding like real insensitive right now, and you know, and people calling you out, people calling them out on it and stuff. It's getting real ugly. And of course, you know, uh, all those I think a lot of the verbal uh, the things that are said verbally just you know there's somebody out there that's hearing you or whatever, but like I don't like read um to be honest, I don't really read I've not read anything that Frances uh what's her name, Frances,
Press Wilson.
yes, I've never read anything or listened to anything that she said ever. And you've never heard me like quote say like Francis said this or blah blah. Never. And I know she has that book called Isis Papers. The only thing I know about her. But I never, you know, read it personally. I've heard people talk about it, um, especially in my circles. You know, people would quote from her and stuff like that. And I really don't know what she is or anything, but there was a video that came up in my what do you call it? Suggestions on YouTube or whatever. It's
Mm-hmm.
like a 4-minute video of Francis Creswell singing the title something like "Why do those white people act the way they do?" or whatever. And so it's all right. I'm gonna click on it. I said because obviously, there's somebody listening to me. Or like these like words, uh, combinations of words I'm using or whatever that can be heard. So anyway, that came up And I was like, oh, this is interesting. Okay. And she's talking about why they act the way they do. And basically, to keep, um, the long story short, is because they're the minority and they're fighting for their survival. That's essentially what she was saying. And I'm like, oh, but like I didn't hear her say that it's a um when you're like in a like anyone can feel like they're losing themselves in a hostile situation, right? Like for some reason she's saying that they are feeling like they're in a hostile situation because they're in a minority or whatever. But if you when you turn when you turn it around, like we're now in a hostile situation, right? We would do the same thing, right? It's like I don't know if she's saying it's like not a natural thing. Is that what she was saying? I really like out of the 4 minutes, like did I need to listen to like the whole 3 hour conversation or something? Because it's like, I felt like some things were left out of there. We're being called a minority. Why would we act differently, than they would, right? When we understand like the human body and stuff and how that works, right? And how the environment works. What do they call that? The um why am I going blank on this? The what do you call it? The ecosystem. There's certain balance to things. I know that I learned a lot about that by setting up and running fish tanks. They have a certain ecosystem you have to follow in order to keep these fish alive, right? And if something is off, everything will just die, right? I don't know if you're following me or not, but it's just something I was just wondering about. Um, I don't know, whatever.
Some survival of the fittest type of mentality to kind of justify the behavior, or give it like a prescription or diagnosis, is what you're saying?
Um, Science, it's not justifying anything. It just is when um, something smaller feels and it knows it's inferior and it's under attack. It's the only thing you that can do is fight back, right? To try to overpower, the thing that's greater than them, right? You see it in science. No, it's no
I mean,
justification. I'm just saying, like,
that
um,
is their justification for their behavior, and this is why they have a science. Like it's a universal principle. However, they size it to themselves as a justification. And this is why she was talking about, the making of the gun, and she calling it the grand equalizer, you know, based off of the complex of inadequacy. But again, that's an attempt of humanization, like we were talking about, with that whole situation with the Creed movie, previously, you know, something that Nat Turner understood was
on the flip side, how did the dominant ones become the dominant ones?
how did the dominant ones become the dominant ones?
Yeah, because they're naturally dominant. That's what she's saying is that black people are the dominant people because we produce, and we're the only ones that could produce this thing called melanin. This is what she
Mm-hmm.
explained, and um um so how did we become, the dominant ones? And because we're the dominant ones, how come we did not stay the dominant ones? This is something that she explains, because then I'll need to take a look at that. Um, and that's just my mind, questions, that just comes up when I hear some of these things or whatever, because this is the same thing that we kind of talk about a lot, like how to get our power back.
How do we go
Right.
from the
So
blessings to the curses?
just like how I was explaining about the ecosystem, something goes off
Mm-hmm.
in the environment. Something goes, you know, it it, it something goes out of balance,
Mm-hmm.
and it just kills everything. It could be the smallest things. I mean, I know that if you don't have the pH balance right in the fish tank, a lot of ammonia is produced, and it kills all the fish. Or it starts with this cloudiness. You could see the problem start, and then the result is like in death. So,
Mm-hmm.
and that happens in all kinds of habitats. Some one thing goes off, and the whole place is destroyed. So yeah, the Torah explains all of that, and I see it in nature. You know, um, but my question was, she's trying to explain right behavior. To me, it's an unnatural thing,
Right.
and to me, it just can't be explained. Like it just can't. Like that inferior superior thing, it just doesn't make any sense to me. This is like an outside, um I don't even know if I want to call it alien, like an outside thing that doesn't belong. Like I will go. There's even a place for parasites, so you can't even call it a parasite.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something that doesn't belong. So I was just, so when I heard, the 4 minutes, I was like, maybe I need to listen to more or something. Maybe she'll get to it or try to, explain, answer my questions without, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure body of work would explain, and answer my questions. I only heard a little bit, but I just like the answer for why, the 4 minute answer. I'm like, well, this is not fair. How they cut her down to 4 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
because I have no knowledge of this person. Like, I know her name. I know when she wrote this book and everybody, and I try to stay away, like, seriously, like I try to stay away from those things because I like to sound like myself, and not others. So, like, I like to have my own thoughts, my own, and then get the supplemental, information from others and stuff like that. But specifically, when we're talking about like race and white supremacy and stuff, I try not to um, listen to other thinkers, like on purpose, because I want to develop my own way of thinking. So I said, you know what? I already got my own way of thinking. I believe I understand this devil, right? So I'm gonna just listen to this
Mm-hmm.
for a minute and see if anything would be said that's different. So what I was hearing was is that what she was saying was trying to humanize, you know, this behavior. This is what I got from it. And I'm saying to myself, no, this thing does not belong. Like we can't explain it. Because how could something that's inferior, that's a minority on the earth, is able to dominate like this? Right? Like, and it brings to mind that word that was in on that website that was reading not so long ago. We were talking about that cop on the billboard, that black cop on the billboard or whatever, and then we also like we like to talk about the Matrix a lot, and they got these machines called Sentinels.
Mm-hmm.
They were made, right? They were made and
Right.
set out to do this thing. There's nothing
Right.
natural about them.
Right.
They don't belong. If you looked at how the place looked, right? Like looked like, I don't even know what death is, but it the earth was grimy, like it was dark, it was just a mess, like
Right.
it was just nothing, right? Like there was no sun, there was just nothing, right? So like I kind of equated to that type of, that thing, and people said, well, well, we can procreate with them, but just because you can procreate with somebody doesn't
What?
mean you're supposed to procreate with it.
Right.
Like, answer
Yeah.
that question. Just because you
That's a
can make,
problem.
produce
That's a very
a
big
child
problem.
with the
That's a
offspring with
very
it
large
doesn't mean you
problem.
should.
Yeah, the whole situation with the one drop rule and all that, and everybody's black and what is it? Um, almost like the people of color shit, and also the fucking what is it? What is the thing? The what is it? What is it? Non-melanated. Like the minority versus the majority. Like somebody would come together with you and have any other intent and purpose other than to kill you. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody outside of you. Like, what are the people inside? What you doing to you? So what is anybody else supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, so like this justification, like not really justification, but again, like humanizing things, saying like, oh, okay, because you hear people say shit like, well, we do it to us too, but there's nothing when we do it to each other, but when somebody else does it, you heard that before. So that is one of the sickest analogies in existence in regards to this situation. Something of detriment is happening, and then the justification takes away the element. So there's no human element over there. The only element that exists for a sentinel, or like what they said in the Matrix about the sentinel, that the purpose of the sentinel was to kill the resistance. So, it was one sentinel, woman, and child in Zion, and this is how they were described. They had a number. A number was made for the death and devastation of every person that existed in Zion. And it was not really with black people. It was like a little skirmish of them other things that was around. But by and large, the people in that city, the people of Zion, was, black people. And those sentinels were deployed. They were sent, so there was no thing where they can humanize and pity or any of that. And even with the physical representations of those things, there were still things. And those things looked at us like via Morpheus, like, I can't take you here. It's the smell. You know, he was the only one that was shackled in the film. He's the only one in the film that was drugged up. He had to break free from them shackles, and as soon as he was going to get his freedom, he was shot in his Achilles. So that was something that was always interesting to me. Like that's where my mind frame goes in regards to that. Like he was the only one that got his ass beat by the police. All these things were in there, like just little subtle kind of things with the equation. And again, like we was talking about yesterday, that experience, on that side. So the purpose behind this, and I think I was talking about it earlier in part two of the Matrix, after Neo was talking to the Oracle, talking about and seeking to explain things that were moving outside of their purpose. Along comes Agent Smith, and Agent Smith comes in there on purpose and purposeful. Everybody, everything that came from that thing was exactly the like. They looked the same, they walked the same, they talked the same. They walked in lockstep. And then when they needed more, they went and got more. Until there was a whole world built up. So just like those sentinels that were deployed. And 1, 2, and 3, all were together. These were all programs that existed in the mind of the programmer. And they showed the architect versus the oracle. So it's just interesting. So if you see that connection and you deal with soft science and coming out of that realm, you see that they don't approach the situation like another scientist. They're both looking for the same thing. They're looking for evidence. They're looking for patterns. They're looking for consistencies and inconsistencies, but their methodology is not the same. So that lens to view the outside world when you start dealing with psychosis, like a doctor looks for symptomology, same kind of mind, like not for, feelings, even though they ask you how you're feeling. They're looking for a way in to connect what your problem is to you so they can give you a diagnosis. And with that diagnosis, they can prescribe you something so they can get paid. That's a way in. So it's really not a due inquiry into wellness. It's a due inquiry to find the hook for dependency. So as to this family system, this is why I don't agree with system racism, white supremacy. It sounds good, but it does not take you to anyone. Anybody can be a part of it. This is what the same shit that they were saying about, anybody we haven't unplugged could potentially be an agent in part one. This is Morpheus, the visionary, and talking to the neophyte, the thing that's there as a sacrifice. So his level of understanding, he had to be bred up because he was made. He wasn't created either. He was made. This showed the difference between people of Zion that didn't have to get hooked into the matrix. They were created. Those transplants that came from this La La land that they were in, they were made. It showed them in the growing fields. They weren't created. So when you have that kind of mind frame, it shows. It's always telling, and somebody's always looking to go back. And this is what it was, an understanding where that template goes along with the process. The fall had been prophesied. It had been prophesied over and over because our ancestors all met their end in the time when they fell away from what was there looking for something else. So this path and this journey is written, it's carved in stone, it's the written word, it's in the song, it's in every kind of resonance. It's a revelation because when we come to the end of our time based off our adherence or inadherence, something else must be established. So these things are prophetic, yet these things had already came to pass, and they continue to come to pass along the same pathway. So just looking to deal with symptomology, these devils are a symptom of what? Of root cause of neglect, of root cause into I'm gonna do this shit my own way. I'm tired. Let's let somebody else do something. That's this grafting process. So it's in the books, it's in the scriptures, it's in our history, it's in our oral traditions, it's in all of our stories. You know, you gave me one from home about the monkey desiring to be a man. You know, there's a tale of Urugu not being able to wait the time in gestation and cutting out of the womb with no complement. There's so many things that come and show it. You know, scripture describes a thing as a serpent, and by revelations, it's a dragon. You know, so all of these things, coming together because of neglect. And on one side, and ascension on the other side. The higher you ascend, the greater the opposing force that is there as a tester. These things that we know. This is why you see a scale. When it's elevated on one side, it's lowered on the other side. And the point is to keep them balanced. This is harmony. So, it's there. And then people use that for inaction, reaction. And others use it for the truth. So, you lay down with dogs, you wake up with fleas.
You said you don't
That's what my
rock with
elders told
that
me.
that term systematic racism.
Nah, I don't fuck with that. I'm a Dr. Bobby E. Wright student. People create systems. I'm a student of Steve Coakley Sr. People, address, telephone number, you can look them up. You can go find them. Where is the system without a family? There's a family. Walmart ain't a store. There's a family. There's a family. So families institute systems, and then you exist in a capitalist system. That's a family system. So this economic system, this ecosystem that you describe. You know, we know history 101. Civilizations come into existence, they reach a pinnacle height, and on their decline, everybody who was developing around them catches them on the decline and destroys them. And the one that is supreme in the destruction of that civilization takes the shit over. And then when they take over, they destroy all remnants of the previous civilization. That's history 101. So this systematic racism, blah blah blah. There was people here, right? Whoever the fuck they were here, and they was chilling. They're like, oh, they came over. Did they reconnaissance? They was asking questions. What do you call this? What's that? What's this? What's that? Oh shit! Went back and reported like, yo, the land of milk and honey over here. Let's go take this shit. You know, like same shit I was talking about. What was, I don't know how long ago, but flossing. You out there flossing, and cats are starving. They coming to get you. So, but you dealing with a thing that no matter how much it gets, it can never be satisfied. That's a glutton. You know what I'm saying? That's a glutton. When you're dealing with a thing, and you're dealing with most of we like Muhammad call it snake of the grafted type. Not even to demonize the snake, to say like, you know, it moves like a snake, but it doesn't attack like a
Exactly.
snake. You know, it
Exactly.
moves like a
Yeah, right.
snake,
I wanted to
right?
break that down because nobody's
Right,
demonizing the snake. Right.
right,
Nobody's demonizing the snake or the serpent or
right.
anything like that.
Or
Yeah,
the
bring it out.
dragon or any of its derivatives. You said no, not the reptilian. Like
Exactly.
just showing you the characteristics that are
Trying to
there
describe this
that are
thing. Yeah.
right, that are natural to the snake, that are natural to the reptile, you know, the reptile. But these are things that are
Mhm.
seeking to take
Mhm.
human form. So this a grafted type, so an amalgamation, an experiment that went wrong, a snake of the grafted type that stings. So you took
Mhm.
a few things and put them together. So hence the science of the cat, rat, dog. It don't have to be, you know, right and exact in regards to the animals, but the behaviors though, you know, they smell like a wet dog and they got fur, you know, all that shit. Like those when you start dealing with that, and then you bring in the snake of the grafted type that stings. This is a crossbreed experimentation that's waiting to sting, not waiting to bite, waiting to sting. And inject the venom and the poison through the stinger, you know? So you look at what animals have the stinger, you know, and all of that together. So, you know, you're really looking at like a thing that moves like a snake, but has a powerful stinger like a scorpion, you know. So, and just looking at that kind of behavior, you know, what was it? The frog and the scorpion. That story is one of them old tales of it. I don't know if it was the frog or whatever it was, the turtle and the scorpion or something like that. And the story, in short, is the scorpion was asking for a ride across the water to make across the water safely. And whatever the animal was, I don't know if it was a turtle, one of the amphibious kind of animals that was in the water, ain't want to give it no ride. So, oh, you looking at my stinger? Oh, I'm not gonna sting you. I need a ride. I need to get over there safely. So, whatever the animal was, agreed and gets the scorpion over to the other side safely. And right before it gets off of the back of the animal that gave it the ride safely to the other side, it stings him. And the story says that the scorpion said to the animal, "Sorry, it's my nature." So why would you hang around a thing or give a thing safe passage or risk your life to get a thing to where it could go, knowing what its nature is? So, the little tale is telling the tale. Yet we hang out with snakes of the grafted type and scorpions and all kinds of things. That's how you live in Biggie Smalls. I'm surrounded by criminals, heavy rollers, even them shiesty individuals. You know what I'm saying? So, just there. It is there. I guess you ain't like my Biggie reference.
I'm struggling over here. It's like I'm he- I'm hearing you going in and out and everything. I'm trying to listen. I hear what you're saying and stuff, but it's like say something else so I can make sure that I can hear you now.
Something else?
See, yeah, it's like statically, and I don't know if it's what's happening, but I heard everything that you said. I caught the part where, well, what I wanted to say about systematic racism is that anybody who's using that thing is actually what do you call that? Has been who actually believes in the system. Believes the falsehoods of it, how it was set up. It was set up on a certain way, like um, what are the fundamentals of America, the foundations of it. All men are created equal, and blah blah blah, and this, and all that nonsense. So it's a system that's has a foundation that says all those things, but it only applies to certain people. So if you're using systematic racism, is it that you're contradicting yourself, or you don't understand what system you're a part of? Like, which one is it? I think it could be like the understanding is off. Um, if you want to put it in those terms, I don't know. But you also brought up capitalism, and you use it in a way where I would say, and when I teach it as capitalism is behavior, and you used it in a way you just use it, that's how it came across. So you explained it as a behavior just now, and it is. People say, "Well, it's a result of behavior." No, no, it's a certain way of thinking, of being. Uh, and people will say, "Well, it's a good thing," and some people say it's evil. Which one is it, or whatever. Um, if it destroys someone, or I don't want to say someone, groups of people, then it would be like a bad thing, right? When it's only like a few only gain from capitalism. I don't care what anyone says, but only a few. And people are saying, well, if you're not making money in this system or whatever, um, did I just change subject? I didn't want to go off. I really didn't want to go off, but I just wanted to just speak to capitalism. Like, if you're not making any money under the system, then you're the loser. This is what you hear from individuals who believe that they have made some sort of impact within a system that is racist. Um, and they use the term systematic racism now. I'm thriving in a system, yet it's racist to me. and my people, and then you turn around and tell your people, well, it's your fault that you can't survive within the system. It makes absolutely no sense to me, right? But for some reason, people think that they are actually making an impact within the system in which they belong, because of, I guess, the perception of success when it's on a small, very small scale. Because we all know that when in a capitalist society, only a few gain, make incredible gains, and the rest of the people are oppressed. Now, we understand oppression to be something different than what other people would think or would say. They would say it's go to explain it'll be. So there's different levels of oppression, right? Um, and you hear gripes from all people in the system across the board or whatever, right? So if the system was truly amazing, if the place where the system is truly amazing, there would not be any but going back and forth. There wouldn't be any uh like, or it's as simple as this, no oppression or anything, right? There wouldn't be these things. So the people who are gaining at the top, how is it that they are not trying to change anything? And this isn't called white supremacy, right? This is something that said that um, it is because they are in a minority. This is why they act this way. This is what she said. So there's some validity to what she's saying as well. And she was like, it's several in it. It's like, I don't know. This is how my works. I see it. I can see what she's saying. Systemically, I can see it, but like as a whole, I'm not really getting it because on a whole, this is something that is not natural, right? In the system could be set up to be that way, right? But as a whole, I don't know if we need to break down the word system or give the the I'm not going to do that. People can look that up for themselves, um, and see exactly what a system is. A system is I'll just, for example, just to make things easy, the body is made up of several systems, right? One can't work without the other, right? So it's only a part of a whole. So speaking on a whole, globally, not like physically, like globally, global means as a whole, right? Um, it doesn't make sense to me. Do you understand? Are you understanding what I'm saying? And you sort of broke that down, and you kind of understood what I was saying. So, how I use the example from, the Matrix and stuff like that. And then and I just found it to be awesome, awesome that you would bring up the recap in it to show its connection. Yeah, that's all. I was applauding you actually. That's what. That.
I got some props. Oh shit.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. All right.
Yep,
That's what's up.
yep. Capitalism is a behavior. So,
It's a cause and an effect.
and I must say that was they.
I said it's a cause and an effect. Like purpose. It's cause and effect.
Yeah. People would say that the capitalism is the effect of the behavior. behavior of the thing that conjured it up or whatever. That's what some I say the whole
Like
damn thing.
it's
It's not
the
just about
purpose,
money.
it's
It's
the
not about
motivation, and it's the result.
capital gains. It's not
Yeah, I mean
it's a
something
mind
has
frame.
to
So
be.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a mind frame. Yeah, because something and someone has to be the capital. You know what I mean? So, and that's created in the mind.
Capital.
Yeah,
Remember he said that in in the what was that in the Wiz. He said that, yes.
yeah,
Capital idea. At capital. Yes.
yeah. Are we bringing up the Wiz now? Because then the whole conversation will
She
be the
said
Wiz.
maybe the Wiz could help you
So
too, right?
then there are 4 hours on the Wiz. Okay, and got halfway through the movie. Then sped it up.
That's he
3
came up with
hours.
an idea.
The Wiz. Okay, all the way back to the records.
This static should have cleared up by now. Like this is crazy. I didn't say what I had to say already, and
Everything grows according to its season. Like that is it right there. Everything grows according to its season. Like I don't know where you don't see yourself when you start looking at these books. I don't know. If you don't see yourself, you won't see yourself. That's the point. But if you see yourself, you can see yourself everywhere. And then there's places where you don't want to see yourself, so you want to see yourself nowhere. When they talk about the making of man in the Quran, it said that the angel said, "Why would you make something that will only create mischief in the land? That will murder, steal, right?" The angels is asking the maker, "Why would you make something like that?" You know what I'm saying? In short, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you do that? Of all the things you could make, why would you make that? That's how you know that's not our creation story. That's not our creation story. That's a making process. This is somebody who went off script for the interest of science. The term for the interest of science don't come from them. It come from the maker. Let us make man. There's a process that took place. An experimentation process. Cloning and all kinds of shit. Grafting process. A bunch of failed experiments to make it. It's there. It made it in a place that would resemble the characteristics and traits of a reptile, in that coldness, not warm-blooded, that cold-blooded thing with nothing but venom inside. That kind of thing. The kind of thing that its maker would repent that it made it. Like, God damn, these motherfuckers are evil continually. I got to destroy these motherfuckers right here. God repented for what he had made. That's real. On that training day right there, like, oh, I'm going to get some breakfast. You don't know you won't. You fucked that up. Oh, no, you won't. Fuck that up. that rebellious nature, that inability to,
You start
take
a debate.
instruction, all of that shit. You see that right there, like this from the beginning. Like, that little scene in Training Day was telling everything. And one little part at the beginning of the movie told the whole movie. This situation of insubordination. So you can have something that you aspire to be, but you can't submit to the process long enough for it to happen. You questioning everything. You went from fake humble to super superior by the end of the movie. Questioning everything. Couldn't even sit still long enough. This is how you know you got to sacrifice. But it was there. Maybe that was too much of me looking into that movie. When it was looking for something to describe the behavior and to see it in a way you could point to and look at. That little restaurant scene. And they're reading the paper. Couldn't shut the fuck up long enough or have enough discipline to enjoy the silence, the only peace that you was going to have the entire day. Still got to run your mouth, look for something, anything. And all of the options were presented to him and he rejected them all. And then he tried to act on them as if it was his own thought. And I don't got no place in a place like that. I already seen what he was there for from the beginning, because he wasn't the first one. And he was him. Lived the whole life in a day. You ain't like Training Day either?
Can I be heard?
Can you hear me?
I don't hear anything, so I'm gonna go out, come back in.
Can you hear me?
Can I be heard?
Mic check, mic check.
Okay, it's struggling, man. Struggle is real. It is like, I mean, this has gone on way too long. I mean, I don't know why it's playing games like this, but
Your mic playing tricks on you?
no, I mean the static was crazy. Like, it happened yesterday too. And
Yeah.
like sensitive information, it makes it hard for me to hear, so it makes it hard for me to respond. But you spoke about now I'm about to change the subject because I have to. Now, so you're talking about this serpent, right, and stuff like that,
Hmm.
and describing. Yeah, all right. So can we talk about this lamb business? Because why would anybody be described as a lamb? I've brought this out before. This is a negative thing. Why would
Hmm.
someone be physically described as a lamb and spiritually as a as a lamb? Um, I just want to know. That's all. Like I can't explain it. I can only speculate. And like I said, it's a negative thing. But like, why are people so accepting of that? I don't know if you hold the same view or not on the lamb as I do, but um, what are your thoughts on lamb? Because the lamb is the innocent, the um, it almost pulls at your heartstrings because you ever seen a lamb? It's so cute, right? So I could see why it why that that animal will be used to describe and to kind of desensitize um, certain situations, out of control situations and things. I just want to know your view, your take on that. If you're talking, I can't hear you. So
I didn't say nothing because like the part of the end part of what you said had broke up, so I was seeing if you was gonna come back and say something else. So I just was
what
waiting.
end part? Where'd I leave off? Because I can repeat it. I'll
You
start
was
over.
talking.
Hmm?
Go ahead.
I'll start over. Okay, you were explaining the serpent and people using that to describe certain behaviors and trying to describe a certain person or whatever, or people or whatever it is, right? While at the same time, um, demonizing the actual animal uh, that we're talking about. Um, so when people are described as a lamb, I see it as a negative thing. And I've said this before in the past, and I've explained that whether it is physically being described as a lamb or spiritually being, why do you think they use a lamb to describe, certain things? And when we know it's negative, when you break it down, the lamb is negative um, when it's being compared to or it's being to describe a person. Um, it's used to desensitize, certain um, responses to, um, remove, to de-escalate certain situations. Why is that? Why do we accept this land business? we know the attributes of a lamb, what a lamb is. And I was saying that I feel like they use a lamb because if you know lamb, if you know a lamb, you've seen a lamb, you know, oh, they're so cute and cuddly, and innocent, and so I could see why they would use such an animal to uh describe, you know, certain people, or in certain situations, and things like that. You know, um in contrast to the serpent, yeah, or no, I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna leave it there. I just wanted to know what your view was on that. You heard me, right? Or was I breaking
Yeah, I
up?
heard you. I was
Okay.
laughing because the New Testament, and I don't want to be talking that New Testament shit right now. But when it says, "Behold, the Lamb of God,"
Mhm.
that's a people.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That's a triumphant people, but that's a triumphant people through sacrifice,
Hmm.
through divesting. It's a people that become triumphant, that come back to a place from which they came because of sacrifice.
Mhm.
So they become the Lamb of God. You know, we know God, and those that know God is different from those who don't know God. They're looking for the meekness and the purity of God. So, they want to be washed white as snow and all this other shit, right? White is synonymous in the scripture with degeneracy.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
leprous white. You're unclean.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? So it's telling you about a people through their very nature and behavior. They can't help their behavior or their nature. They're going to appear to you to look pure, but they're not pure.
Lawless. Right.
You
Mhm.
see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So
Right.
yeah, so this the same thing that rises them to power is the same thing that brings them and takes them out of power. You know, I was on my brother Kofi G earlier, and we were talking about Nat Turner. You know, I said there's some Nat Turners amongst us, but there was a difference between Nat Turner and Will the Executor. Will the Executor wasn't the same as Nat Turner. You know, Nat Turner existed in a space that enthralled and inspired the people towards insurrection. And Will the Executor was the definition. You know, he was like the Dessalines to Toussaint Louverture. You know,
The Undertaker. Yeah.
right, right. So Nat Turner started with his own master and his wife, and they was walking out the house, and they heard a baby crying. And Will went back in and killed the fucking baby. You understand? So
Mhm.
he did something that Nat wasn't going to do.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
this call was something. This was different. So now you're dealing with a people and say, "Behold the Lamb of God." When you're talking about a people that would be triumphant through sacrifice, there's a transformation that takes place. So the Lamb is there that is being led to slaughter,
Yeah. Right. Right. Mhm.
so that the people can transcend.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So when you're looking at it, it's a people who are killing aspects of themselves that don't apply in their elevation. With them on that path to liberation, there could be no meekness, no humbleness in their heart for their enemy. None of them.
They're a bunch of dummies. Yeah, lamb.
Right.
Yeah. Mhm.
Right. So the whole thing, but that's the part that will have you fooled. That's the
Mhm.
part that will have you fooled. You know what I'm saying? Like Nat Turner come from, you know, a West African Diakan people.
Mhm.
They were not docile. Matter of fact, as the report goes, with his family, they stopped bringing those people from West Africa because they weren't docile. You couldn't control them.
Stop them. Stop. They stopped bringing
Yeah,
them. They didn't stop. They had
yeah,
no choice. They were
yeah,
dying.
right. You see what I'm saying? So like this is how but you know when people, present literary works, how they word the things. It's like, okay, yeah, okay. They like, nah, that's too much trouble.
Them British, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's too much trouble.
And them damn
You see?
Spaniards and
So
Portuguese.
you want something easy. So this is how a lamb is presented.
Right.
You know, when they describe March, whoever came up with that, it said March comes in like a lion and out like a lamb.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? So it
Yeah.
comes in like this, right? Ferocious,
Mm-mm-mm.
king,
Yep.
right? And then out like a lamb, something ready for the slaughter,
Like a lamb. The lambs
right? So you
who
coming
subscribe to
from
systematic racism.
you coming in from winter. Do you know how strong a crop has to be grown at
To
night,
endure. Yes.
right?
Yep.
And to be grown in
hmm
the winter.
Yep. Night and in
Look at
winter.
some of the
Right.
shit that is grown in the winter. Like we in the fall
hmm
season. This fall season is a season of harvest. And this is a storing up season
Yep.
and prepared for a season of hibernation,
hmm
with little to no movement and little to no light.
hmm
So something has to grow still in that time where everything else around it is dying.
hmm
So again, the lamb purpose is showing a people, behold the Lamb of God. This is God looking at his people, saying, behold the Lamb of God, like, yeah, oh, these people is unfuckwittable no matter what you do to them when they rise to that occasion. But as long as they're in that lowly state of existence, they're going to be slaughtered and continue to be slaughtered like those lambs.
Lambs are
Worthy
made to be
that was
slaughtered.
the lamb. Worthy was the lamb that was slain.
hmm But
So
that's the
like,
nature of it.
right, even with that, like right there, like they attribute that shit to Jesus, and they say even with that, the people that wear the crosses with the thing hanging from it,
hmm
they're comfortable in that because it does not require you to do anything.
Anything. Right.
Because it's
Lawless people.
already been done for you.
Right.
You understand? It's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, oh, like that shit sound like a suicide mission. You got the roughest military on the planet after you. Your own people sold you out, and you running around with 12 people
Yeah.
who couldn't stay awake long enough, and one of the 12 people turned you to fucking. You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
One of the 12, and you sat with the motherfucker and told him like, oh, you gonna turn me in. You the bitch that's gonna turn me in. And you gonna act like you ain't never known me. So that's two people out the equation right there. Right? The dude what like just like March is described, when they talking about Peter was ready with that sword and cut the damn soldier's ear off. How you go from cutting the soldier ear off to saying I don't know this motherfucker? In like a lion, out like a
Out like
lamb.
a lamb. Right.
He told him not even a whole day gonna pass, and you gonna act like you ain't known me 3 fucking times. Shit, before morning time, motherfucker, you gonna be like, oh, yeah.
That's
Well,
what I was saying. That this is exactly what I was saying. So how are
after
they
you walked
describing the
on water,
lamb?
like you the motherfucker that walked on water.
Right. That's my whole point. Exactly. How you describe as a lamb, like, and you accept that, like.
So, like, this is the mentality too, though. This is the mentality when you talking about people like that. Like, this is a people that could ascend with you to a point, and they could go no further. Right? Give us Barabbas. You know, Dr. Khaled out here. There's people that roll with Dr. Khaled, and it was a bunch more people that rolled with Dr. Khaled that hated him and wanted him dead than the people who loved him, and that would have died with him. But they separated him from those ones who would have died with him versus those who would deny him. But they deny him in the worst kind of way. They're still trying to make a capital gain off his name. You see? So, behold the Lamb of God situation. So, this sacrifice is made for the devolution and not for the elevation on the other side. On this side, there are those who came from amongst a righteous man like that and just made it worse.
Let me say it in another way.
Yeah, you don't want to see the ones that come after this. On this side, you can control it. This is March coming in like the lion, so that lion coming in, that ferocious lion.
I was about to say, how do you go from a lion to a lamb, right? Mm-hmm. All in the
It's
same breath, you saying you're a lion and a
then
lamb.
on this other side, you got a lamb. And it ain't been nothing but lambs ever since.
Yeah, but there's people running around talking about their lion and a lamb.
Yeah.
How that work? That doesn't make any sense to me. How you vouching for a lamb? You a lion, right? Screaming Zion, right? But then over here, the Lamb of God. You know, like, come on.
Yeah, they
Out of
over there
here.
lamb backing. Lamb back.
Because they hate that pig. Man, it said don't eat the pig. And they say hate the pig. Damn. Like, come on. Like, people, come on. Oh, my goodness. Anywho. All right. So we in agreement on that. That's cool. I'm just saying, just make it make sense, okay?
When I see a lamb, you know what I see? Lamb chops. What the fuck?
That's right.
Chops?
They are made to be slaughtered. That's just natural.
Them
That's a
lamb
natural
chops,
thing.
okay? In that case, I'm all in the New Testament. Worthy of the lamb that was slain for the lamb chops.
The easiest animal to kill,
Run that.
and eat, right? The easiest.
Run that.
Everything else, fight and run. This one over here will, oh, yeah, I see a person. I love you. And will follow you. Don't know you from Adam. Don't know you from, anywhere. And it will walk off a damn cliff. I'm telling you, like, people, come on. Like, this is we need to get back on the farm. I think that's what we need. We need to get back to our roots, so we can learn what is what. Because I think that if we understood what was what, and a lot of the time we just go along with what it is, And I'm gonna keep bringing up Booker T. Washington. Booker T. Washington said it was easier to get a day off. That's why he went to church to hear about Jesus. That's what he said. So after he said it, I said, "Oh, okay, I get it. I get it. Nothing more, nothing less." So how are you a lion, and then a lamb, and co-sign that lamb nonsense all at the same time? Makes no sense. And and my sentiments too, where you were speaking about the disciples and the fighting that was going on, and they were causing somewhat of a problem amongst, lambs don't do that, number one, right? So
Right.
something ain't right. Something is not right with that whole damn story. And this is why
capitalist society. There was
right.
a capitalist society, and they was real careful. They was stirring up, but they was like fake stirring up shit. They ain't say don't pay them taxes. It said render unto Caesars. Run them that taxes. You understand? Pay your motherfucking taxes, cause you don't want that smoke.
Bring it out.
You know. And render unto God, which is God. So what was God's then?
Mm-mm-mm.
Where them church folk at, man? Ask them what was God's. The blood of your enemy? Somebody had to die. Somebody had to die. That's why they show the whole person, and they good with the whole person dying and letting the rapist and the child molester get off. Don't that sound right? Don't that sound
Yeah.
like today? Uh,
Mm-mm.
you could kill a righteous person and get off,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you could be
Mm-hmm.
a fucking sexual predator, and they prefer you back in society. All you
That's
gotta do
right.
is
They put you right back in. Yep.
yeah, you good, you good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And we okay with all of this, right?
yeah,
You know,
because it's vice. It's vice. They're like, yo, you sure? All right.
it's
Barabbas
okay to be
ain't
a
doing
baby
shit.
killer.
Barabbas ain't going nowhere organizing no people to go do nothing. He want a little boy or a little girl.
Yep. Pedophiles. That look. If
Right,
they're okay with killing babies, what's a
right.
pedophile? Right.
Good.
There you go.
Well, he's paying them tax. Barabbas paying them taxes. You ain't think about it.
And this is a system that we fight and
And
say
this
is
shit,
racist.
like the way they describe this
Mm-hmm.
shit is so funny. It's like, all right, once a year, we let a motherfucker off.
Yep.
And this supposed to be the stage that's set. This supposed to be like a kangaroo court. You can't just say, oh, this a righteous dude, he can go. You know, how they show the story, they beat his ass. Just say like, okay, didn't he suffer enough? They're like, nah, fuck that. It's like, all right, let's get somebody that they despise and reject. It's supposed to be a society of people who against this. All right, let me show y'all Barabbas. They're like, give us Barabbas. Well, what about Jesus? Oh, crucify it. They're like, yo, Barabbas is a fucked up dude. They're like, yeah. Give us Barabbas. You can control a person through vice or an agent or a rat, snake, or a provocateur. You can't control what come out the mouth of a righteous person. So you gotta kill them. Not kill them. That's the only way you can try to silence them. But you don't know in killing them that they live forever. People change stances in life. They get old and they're about to try to make it to heaven, and they be a lot less confrontational, a lot less revolutionary. They become lackluster. You know, they be like, "Oh, I was young." You hear these cats? They even make music. Oh, I was young then. They explain in the way they shit and all that, and then they fizzle away. But then when you got these other ones, they've been that way forever. They don't never change. If they was a snake of the grappling type, if they was an agent, if they was a provocateur, they're that to this day. Like that bastard whose birthday is today, Al Sharpton. He ain't no new motherfucker. He been an old informant, and he's been an informant to this day. And anytime they need one of those lambs to come in, motherfuckers like him and Benjamin Crump and the rest of those punks, they always go get a lamb to go to the lion and try to make the lion meek. So, they gonna lie to the lion.
I don't have one grievance. I have like 100 of them within this system. You know, racism ain't one of them. Um, but all that stuff that you brought out, you know, the rapists, the pedophiles, and all of these, being able to run around within this system. Nobody is saying anything about it. Why is that? I'm like, okay. And this is why I don't like that the term or the word systematic racism. I just don't. I just don't. It is not. It is something that is, and there's no cure for it unless you're willing to remove yourself from it, and start, you know, dealing with it from that point. You can't be a part of the system and want to be free at the same time. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. Um, as long as you have a dependency on it, you're gonna have to rock with it. So, I have respect for those who like, not real respect, but the ones who just accept it and push it. Yeah, okay. You're a part of the system. I get you. I see you. It's all good. We know where you stand. But for the others who don't get it, who are, over here complaining about the system that doesn't care about you, who put you where you are, and you need to stay there in order for them to, profit and not just money. And always, if you don't get it, it's, you're just going to be crying and screaming for the rest of your life and your children too, you know. But, I just can't get with that. I have hundreds of grievances, and racism is not one of them. Um, we could start with just the simple ones, like you said, the rapists being put back into society, those damn pedophiles, those damn baby killers, people saying it's okay to kill your unborn babies. You know, uh, we could start with them first. How about that? I don't know how anyone can condone such things as this, and then put labels on themselves that represent that nonsense and run around like and say that it's okay, to do these things, that the law, that the system of law we're under is okay, the judgments that they make is okay, and that we're going to fight the government to try to change these. It's no, it doesn't work that way. Why are you teaching falsehoods? Why are you lying to people? Because that's essentially what you're doing. If you're within the system and you're saying we're going to fight white supremacy, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, when you're allowing all this other stuff to happen, right? Not addressing everything that is wrong with it. Um, I would say, go as far as to say that the person is selfish. You know, this person is totally selfish. They're only worried about their individual selves, and that is the problem, right? Do you think that that is the issue, that everybody's running on individualism, um, uh, rather than uh, collectivism? Because when you talk about black people not being treated okay, fairly under a system, are these black people talking about everybody that falls within a group? Or are they talking about themselves because they want to get ahead in this in this system? Because I sit back and I do think about these things. Are they speaking about the whole of their people or people they come from, or are they talking about their individual rights? You know, as a person, because usually people who are screaming are the ones who have been hurt, right? But then you have others who are okay with the system, right, and have no complaints about it. Yeah, we recognize that there's a problem with, you know, they having a problem with us, but since I'm getting along well, you know, and they're allowing me to do this and do that, then I'm okay with what's going on. That's basically how I see it. Oh, Sass, I'm not really okay with, but you're acting like it, you know. So, do you think that it is a when we talk about fighting for our rights under the system, are we talking about the whole of our people, or are we talking about our individual interests here? Your thoughts? If you're talking, I can't hear you.
So I have a bank job case. The only thing about it is I can't have the job connected with the Cobras.
How are you gonna do that?
We use Red Beans, Benny Rooster, Paul Monte, JT, Johnny, and Tom. And you lead the team.
All the yellow niggas, right? Look, man, I am tired of that. I am not passing. I'm black. Do you hear me, man? Do you understand? I am black. I'm a nigga. Do you understand me? I was born black. I live black, and I'm gonna die probably because I'm black. Because some cracker that knows I'm black better than you, nigga, is probably gonna put a bullet in the back of my head.
Settle down, Kamala. Settle down.
I'm not with them food, but I was just standing out looking.
How long since you've been in bed?
Not since the riot started.
That was 3 nights ago, man.
Yeah, I know. Catnap when I can.
When did the National Guard come in?
Late last night. All white.
I noticed.
Yeah, the people didn't dig it when it was morning and found the troops were here.
What do you think they'll do?
I can't see them trying to fight the army.
They didn't mind fighting police?
Yeah. I never seen them like that.
Maybe that badge has put distance between you and them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot. The pigs over here and the people over there. And never the twain shall meet, huh? Hey, man, I grew up down here, too. And I know these people. Now, there were some good people out there in the streets the last few nights. Not just hoodlums, like they say in the newspapers.
In a scene like this, anybody can get involved.
But that's only going to make it worse. We have to maintain law and order, or we might as well be back in the jungle.
Does. The ghetto is a jungle, always has been. Understand? You cannot cage people like animals and not expect them to fight back someday. It has always been an army occupation here, with police badges and uniforms. Huh? You and me, a cop and a social worker, we are keepers of this goddamn zoo.
The streets have to be safe.
Safe for who? You're here to protect property, not lives.
Well, that's what it's all about, isn't it? You worked hard to get what you got, didn't you? and you want to keep it just like I do?
Bullshit. Listen, you think because you got a badge and I got a couple of degrees, that makes a difference? Do you know what white folks call people like you and me in private? Niggas, dogs. Niggas.
Hey, hey, hey. I've heard you talk like that since we were in college.
Well, I'm sorry, man. Maybe the last 3 nights been a little bit much. I got a board meeting. I got to go reassure the white folks. Let's go get something to eat, okay?
Okay.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, Kamala was having a breakdown.
She was going off, wasn't she?
Yeah. I tell her to settle down.
Oh man. This is why when we start talking about collectivism versus individualism or individualism versus collectivism, you heard the arguments right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
These
Yep.
was two arguments.
Yep.
You know, you got a half breed who's talking about he ain't passing, and he becomes like the main hero.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the one that would do something that nobody else won't do. That's him
Right.
and his crew. Versus a black man that's not racially ambiguous in his appearance. You know that that's the black man. You understand
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
he's saying that his duty and responsibility to his enemies was greater than that to of his people, indiscriminate to what it was. He said he grew up there,
Mm-hmm.
but he wasn't going to let black people stop him from obtaining what he was really after.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have no loyalty to us,
Right.
and he looked at his brother like, oh, that's who policed his brother, you know? So this is the picture that shows you, okay, as you ascend, the people that can go with you ain't the people that started with you. Okay, that's interesting. But the interesting element is the darker hue is against the lighter hue, and that's a battle right there. So he studied those tapes to find his friend. And he had no problem with not joining forces with his friend, but his loyalty to his enemies over his family and his friends. He had already said it.
Yep.
I like nice things. I want to protect what I got.
Mm-hmm.
Versus this racially ambiguous mixie on the other end that robbed a bank in the middle of the goddamn day to prove his loyalty. Huh? No thought about it. None of them had no thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
Which we know is historically inaccurate. However,
Right.
we see the lines that are drawn. So, in regards to individualism, Trump, and collectivism, in regards to how we see ourselves, I worked hard to get what I got.
Yep.
Were you alone? Where did you come?
I always ask that
How did you
question.
get there?
Right.
You know, and who let you in? So you
Right.
an officer at the department, and the police guys who came up with those dogs, them crackers who came up with the dogs, you was police, and that wasn't enough. They didn't even care who the fuck you were, and you were officer over there. He had to shoot that pistol in the air, and he had to threaten to shoot the dog. He turned his service weapon on the dog for them to disperse. And he is an officer, like I think he was like a lieutenant in the police department.
Mm-hmm.
or detective or something like that, whatever it was. He had rank, and the cops that came with the dogs didn't respect him on site or his authority. He had to take out his weapon and threaten to kill the dog. He had to cock back the hammer and everything. And he was still loyal to that over his loyalty to his people. There were some good people out there, not thugs. Like, how old is that propaganda? You know? How old is that propaganda? For when insurrection takes place on the plantation, the people are relegated to criminal. So, in 2 weeks I'll talk about that. Because we running around with this shit like, I'm not even going to get to that. But you already know what I'm talking about. So in 2 weeks I'll deal with that right there. So these are just indicators on what is value and what is accepted for value and the links that our people will go to have self-worth and value, but not self-worth and value to self, but self-worth and value and existence to our enemies. That's a detriment. When you go and work hard and bust your ass and establish yourself and get the things that you so desirous of having in part, not for yourself and for your family to show an example, but to think that you're going to be equal with something that ain't even human. And you would do it off the backs of your people. That's individuality.
Yeah, and push and promote their system. Yeah,
Right.
trying to
Their
find
family
solutions
value.
that'll never
So they
happen.
create value
Yeah.
from the things like when I say family value, I don't want it to be reduced to the shit that you're talking about in regards to that. Their family creates value and thereby a value system. They say what's valuable and what you are to strive for because their family provides it. That's what makes it valuable.
Mm-hmm.
Their family provides it. That's what makes it valuable to them. And this is what makes it of value to us. So they create the value. This is how they have a fluctuation in regards to what it is. They put a value on something that is priceless. They say, oh, gold is worth this much today. Silver is worth this much today. Or the housing market. Or the stock market. We were the stock in the market and we're still the stock in the fucking market.
Yeah.
How do we miss that? And then we come up with, elitist kinds of mentality that's not used in the right way. Ain't nothing wrong with being an elitist. As long as your people are on the top and your enemies on the bottom.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hell yeah, I'm cool with that. I'm with that 100%. Me and Baba Kwame Ture, peace be upon him, we world domination, yes,
That's
because
right.
we've seen the world when it's not in our control. We see that we cannon fodder for the rest of the world. Yeah. Ain't no peaceful coexistence. They
That in
waiting.
Yeah, but there is no I want the power in that individualism thought process. Like in the psyche of an individualist, that doesn't exist. They
Yeah.
want to become the system in which they
Right.
are
They
subject
want a
to.
better position. Yeah. I
Right.
was talking about that
Mm-hmm.
whole peanut butter and jelly situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's all good. You content with eating that peanut butter sandwich until something or someone comes to you and say they got jelly over there. You
Mm-hmm.
ain't even think about it. It was good with the peanut butter. They got jelly over there. Then you go look over there, you see everybody else got jelly. Now, now jelly becomes an infatuation in your mind. You wasting your time trying to get that jelly because you thinking you want that jelly like everybody else. And they say, oh, in order for you to get this jelly, you got to cut off your friends because you start getting that jelly with us. They're gonna be envious of you. They're gonna try to steal that jelly from you, and you work as hard as you work to get that jelly. You ain't gonna let nobody come get that jelly. Them unspeakable acts that you had to submit and subject yourself to get that jelly. You gonna keep that jelly for yourself, like that yeah, movie Drop Squad. You know, with Boo Boo over there. Couldn't even get the man a job as a janitor. No, he ain't messing up my jelly. Lying to his face in front of his pregnant wife. Lying to his face. And she telling him he ain't shit. He lying to you. And he caused a split in that household and he wasn't even there. He like, nah, that's my cousin. He wouldn't do me like that. Shit. That jelly syndrome. So trying to make it into a sin, like leaving the neighborhood and moving into a white neighborhood. All that shit. Just crazy as all hell. Like, yeah, I'm the only black one that live in my neighborhood, and I'm glad.
I made it out the hood.
Sick of seeing you niggas.
You're gonna be the first one cut off you when you do when they go down, you're gonna be the first
when
one
they
cut
go
off.
down, right?
It ain't by us either. It won't be by us either. So
right. You don't know that that's an act of war. All this Malcolm you say you reading and these speeches you say you listening to. You saying you want a job, you want them to hire you, you want to live in a neighborhood, and you want a bitch.
Yep.
And you say, oh, that's what being American is. That's the American dream.
That's why I was seeking clarification on what the elder who passed said, trying to describe or trying to let us know why the cracker acts the way it does. And if you just listen to a 4-minute clip, you're not gonna get everything in context. You're possibly not gonna get it because I always hear this thing where it says, well, if you act like them, then you're just like them. I'm like, what do you mean act like them? So we got it twisted. We got that land mentality versus doing what is right. Rightfully by ourselves. And this is where we got to be careful when people start talking about God, because people have different perceptions of what God is. They're not dealing with what God actually is, right? They're coming up with or taking on the belief systems of other people and not understanding what that's like or what it is for real. And not understanding that everything that they do is supposed to be for their own benefit. And a lot of people will say that's selfish, right? How could it be selfish when you're in a state of when you're living in terror every day because you're a certain like color or whatever, right? This is something that that you can't help and you can't take it off and you can't disguise, right? So it's different than anything else that people would try to compare it to. Um, so how is that selfish when you're asking for uh acceptance? Is it because You're asking for the acceptance because people should accept you because you can't help that the color of your skin is black, or that you deserve respect because you are a human being. Like, which one is it? Which one are you using? Um, and that, I mean, these are questions that I like to ask. I don't get answers for like any of this stuff. I don't think that people think about things like this in this way, and I think that we should like instead of like arguing with people and stuff like that, just ask them these simple questions, these thought provoking questions, and see what they say, because it could change a mind here or two, three, um one of those proud minds, maybe not, but I know that sometimes when you hear something, it could make that spark, you know something that hasn't been, that haven't heard before, whatever. But anyway, whatever. All right. Philosophically speaking, right? So, yeah, very, very good clips to explain that collectivism versus individualism.
That's right.
And race is not an issue. I'm just better than you.
Kamala was fired up. You ain't gonna never find that again. Damn near verbatim, word for word. And they always doing this shit on the Breakfast Club. What the fuck is it about this Breakfast Club? They everybody be going crazy over there.
It's a what would you call it? It's a platform. It's a stage where people go to speak to a certain people, right? So it's just what do you call those things? Good lord, I forgot what you call it. You know what I'm talking about? That is no radio station. That's the mainstream media there. It's disguised as a radio station. It's not.
Yep.
And whatever they say is popping, people will believe it. It's popping. Now, what they should have did was, if they wanted to be gangster, they should have invited Donald Trump on there.
I'm sure they reached out.
No, he would have went. He would have gone to get closer to black folks. If he had, like, if it was like, quote unquote, like, I can speak to directly to black people, I would think he would. I don't believe he was ever invited.
I'm sure he was.
You think so? And he rejected it. Why would he reject that?
I'm sure it probably didn't even get to him.
Oh, okay. But
Yeah,
you do know Donald Trump is from our neck of the woods, right? So
that's
he
my
know
response.
he knows that Breakfast Club very well. I wouldn't be surprised if he is not invested in it. You know,
Yeah, I'm sure.
just saying, because they all the same
Yeah, they
people. This
had
is
them
what I'm
other
saying.
candidates on before. I think they would have did better if he was running initially to get him, but it didn't.
It's just that people are like very hypocritical, especially some black people. I'm gonna call them out. Yep, I'm gonna call them out. I've never been a fan of Donald Trump ever, ever. Never looked to Donald Trump to see how he got rich, how he did anything ever. And he's from New York. Never, never, ever. But black people used to love Donald Trump until Donald Trump became Donald Trump.
Yeah, I mean that's
What
wrestling.
happened?
It's wrestling. You know, they did that shit. They did that shit. I described that shit a long time ago. Like
Mm-hmm.
they did that shit with Hulk Hogan. You know, like they showed the politics and the way of America in Rocky 3 from the beginning of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
What's his fucking name? Hulk Hogan was like Thunder Lips or some shit like that.
Thunder Lips.
Yeah, whatever it was.
I
That
don't
was his
remember that.
name, his wrestling
Okay.
name or something in the movie.
Oh, No Holds Barred.
Yeah.
Oh, something like
So
that.
you
Oh,
saw
okay.
they showed you the game of politics and the influence in the mind. This is Hulk Hogan, right? This, you know, he was Hulkamaniacs and all that other shit. But he's in this
Mm-hmm.
movie with Sylvester Stallone, and he's supposed to be a bad guy. And when he first came to wrestling, he was a bad guy, and he went from a bad guy to a good guy. You know, uh, the bad guy situation was short lived. And in the film, if you remember Rocky 3 at the beginning, this is supposed to be an exhibition fight, right? So he's like, "Oh yeah, you know, my son loves you. I want to get an autograph, and we take a
Right.
couple of pictures." He's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, yeah, yeah." As soon as the bell rings, he supposed to be transforms into this psychotic dude, and
Yeah.
then this whole situation goes into like, this battle for Rocky's life, against this, straight up cold blooded motherfucker, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
it's to the point where he has to get his gloves cut off to fight. Now he has to brawl, you know. So this, champion taking pictures, shit, it had nothing to do in the ring. There was no place,
Right.
and this was
Mm-hmm.
the stage that was set for the fight with Mr. T. You know what I mean? Like that this kind of shit that you thinking about where you been, and it didn't matter. You got to prove it right fucking now. You know. So after they fight and do all of this shit in the ring, after the bell is rung again, it's like, oh yeah, let's go take these pictures. And he's looking at him like he done lost his fucking mind. Like, yeah, this is the way of the fucking world. Like this is the politics. Like this is it. This showing you American politics in this
Mm-hmm.
raw form, down and dirty. It's showing you this capitalist society in this raw form. It's a dogfight. It ain't none of this shit you envisioning in your mind. It's the justice system. It's all of this shit because it was spawned and amalgamated and made in the mind of this is the actualization of their mind and how they play it out.
Great example.
And you crazy as hell thinking it's going to be any other kind of way.
Yep. Great example. I don't know
You
if
know,
that's the best example right there. You're absolutely correct. Right. I'm gonna have to
so
use
then
that
they
one.
show you somebody who thinks that they can grow up, some black person who thinks that if they just work hard, right, and do everything that
Right.
they're supposed to do, they're going to get a shot at the throne. They're going to be able to make it in this place. And Mr. T was as disciplined as they came, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Got cut off. Yep.
And he was knocking motherfuckers out the
Yep.
ring.
Mm-hmm.
He was the number one contender. Like he was number one.
Yep.
But just like this whole shit goes, it's like, oh nah, you ain't about to get no chance. So this was Mick. This was that Irish Mick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Saying, nah, he was watching him because they watch everybody, just like we was talking about a couple of days ago. He was watching him. He was at all them fucking fights. He was watching them. Because the Italian stallion was enamored with him being the champ. Like he's in his zone.
Right.
And he didn't see Mr. T as anybody other than somebody else that he would fight because he had fought Apollo and Apollo was the best. He fought Apollo twice. So who is this guy that he never heard of? Right? But Mick knew who the fuck he was.
That's
He was
right.
like,
Mick was like, he gonna remove you off your throne.
he'll knock your block off.
Yep. He gonna take you off.
Ring
Yep.
you.
We gonna be back. We gonna be back
He'll
in the
clean
hood.
you and clean your
Yep.
clock. He told him all that shit. You understand? And that still didn't stop him from wanting to fight him. So he had to say, you do it without me. So back to the Creed movie, when the dude's talking about fighting the son of Drago, he's like, "Yo, yeah, I carried your dad's lifeless body out from his father." Like,
Rocky was a piece of crap in that movie. I
yeah, he
didn't even
was a
get
piece
into
of crap.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he's a
didn't
piece,
get into
yeah,
that.
he's a piece of crap. I mean, he was a piece of crap the whole time.
Uh huh.
So
The whole time.
again, back to the example because I don't want to leave it because it's a good one.
Mhm.
This black man thought that he deserved a fair shot because he did everything right.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? And it wasn't no extra shit. It wasn't nothing. There wasn't really nobody in his corner. You didn't see his cornerman into the fight.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't see his
Right.
corner, the cornerman to the fight. Like this is what it was. It was dedication. It was on the way up. Boom, 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 boom. And he had to play the game the way that they play the game in order to get him in the ring. So just coming at him straight up, like you see my record, blah blah, that wasn't nothing. He had to, throw some shade over there. He had to get at his woman and shit. You understand what I'm saying? Like he had to go,
To
he had to
wake him
go,
up. Yeah.
yeah, he had to get it back in, like yeah. So that was the thing that got them into the ring. And when he got in the ring, he was ill prepared because
Mhm.
he was playing the game. He thought that what he had did was enough to get him through, whether Mick was in his corner or not. So that example and that example for Bang, like Bang, oh shit, for Batman, that's like the same example right there. Like, oh, your victory is what you got. Like you think, this shit is good. Like, oh, you just gonna beat my ass, beat everybody else's ass. I ain't these other motherfuckers. He like Bruce. He called him by his name. Hey, Bruce. let's not be playing these fucking games. You know who the fuck I am. We not among the uninitiated. That's what he said to him. So this is gonna be a different kind of fight. And that was a fight he wasn't prepared for. So somebody fighting you with all you got, it reveals that all that you have is not enough. Becomes something different. So he was ill equipped to fight this ferocious one, right? So he knocks him out. But what does he do now after he wins? What does he do now? What does Mr. T do now? The disciplined guy that was training in his house, he wasn't even in no damn gym. He becomes a champion. And then the next time you see him, he got the furs and shit. He got the women, blah, blah, blah. He flossing. He told him,
That's
what
as
you
far
look
as it
for
goes.
another beating? You should have never came back.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? So the same
Mhm.
thing that got him there didn't keep him there. So he just thought like, oh, okay, I just pound my way through. And that was an amalgamation of plenty of fighters who were great. And they had ran out of steam, you know. So he showed him in the way that Muhammad Ali showed George Foreman that he wasn't a true champion. He let him punch himself out. So, those elements were there. And you see that longevity that played a factor. So, you see politics, they got the short game and they got the long game. They got the short con and the long con, short conversation and long conversation. And it's pimping, So they show all those elements there. And I think in those fights, they show that great manipulation right there. When you look at politics and you look at the politics of boxing and blah, 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 and all that. All built from the same families, the same people. Italians, Jews, Irish. Yeah. Then they snuck in like a Russian at the end.
Rocky let him get killed by that Russian.
Hey, you get no love, and I thought you knew it. You know what I'm saying? What you think?
I said Rocky pulling a Mick on this boy gonna get killed.
Yeah,
And he didn't even say anything. I was like, look at this here. I mean, he couldn't pull out a tape. You know what I'm saying? Sit down with him. Take a look at this. Nothing. Just, you know.
nah,
I said, look at this here. You know, whatever. The movie was there. It was terrible.
for the record,
What
for the record.
all that God? Well, this was a good one. So, you know.
Yeah,
Oh, remember that movie Little Rascals
yeah,
from the newest, not the newest one, the one before, the funny one, the good one. Um, Donald Trump and Whoopi Goldberg was in that movie. I don't know if you remember
yeah,
that.
yeah.
They played the parents of the
Mm-hmm.
kids in the race. Just saying, just they look, they're friends. These are all the same people, all connected. I don't even know why we taking all this seriously. Like, you know, it's a big game. It's a farce. It's everything evil. So that individualism will only get you at what so far, and then you stop, and you stop where they say you stop. You know, the we have to, you know, once again, understand what our goal is. You know, well, you know, Sass, everybody's goal is not the same. Whatever. Well, um, I guess you want to always be the subject, and that's sad. But anywho, where we at? Let me see. Ooh, ooh, do you see that? That's
Exactly.
24. Do you see that? Oh my God. Mm, goodness. Ouch. I'm gonna cue myself.
Yes.
Shalom.